The scent of rain-soaked earth and crushed pine needles is the only comfort I have ever known. It is the smell of the Blackwood Pack's territory, the smell of home, even if this home has never truly claimed me. Here, I am Ilara, the Omega with no name, the foundling left at the edge of the territory 18 winters ago. My blood is a mystery, my lineage a blank page, and in a world built on the strength of pure bloodlines, I am less than nothing. I serve in the kitchens, my hands chapped from hot water and harsh soap, my back aching from dawn until moonrise. The other pack members see through me, their gazes sliding past as if I am a ghost already. My wolf, a timid creature curled deep inside me, rarely speaks. She only ever whimpers, a constant low thrum of loneliness that echoes the hollow space in my own chest. Tonight, however, is different. A nervous energy buzzes through the great hall, a current of anticipation that even I can feel. It is the night of the Luna ceremony. Our alpha, Kale, who took the mantle after his father's passing last season, will choose his mate, his Luna, the she-wolf who will rule by his side. The hall is draped in evergreen boughs and silver silks, the scent of roasting meat and spiced wine thick in the air. Every unmated she-wolf of noble blood is preening, their silks rustling, their scents blooming with cloying sweetness, each one hoping to be the one chosen. I am here only to serve, my gray tunic blending into the stone walls. My task is to keep the goblets full and remain invisible. Kyle stands by the great hearth, firelight carving sharp angles on his face. He is the embodiment of an alpha, broad-shouldered, powerful, with eyes the color of a stormy sky. His scent rolls through the hall, a potent wave of pine and the crisp, cold promise of a winter storm. It is a scent of command, of untamed power, and every wolf in this room, myself included, feels the instinctual urge to submit. He is speaking with the pack elders, his expression grim. Duty weighs heavily on him. Our pack needs a strong Luna, one with a bloodline that will ensure powerful heirs. He is not just choosing a mate, he is securing our future. I move along the edges of the room, my pitcher heavy in my hand. I keep my eyes down, focused on the task. Do not be seen. Do not be noticed. It is the mantra of my life. But as I pass behind the cluster of noble she-wolves, a force, powerful and undeniable, slams into me. It is not a physical blow, but something deeper, something that strikes the very core of my soul. The air is stolen from my lungs. The scent of pine and winter storm is no longer a general presence in the room. It is a direct, personal assault on my senses. It fills my head, my lungs, my blood, and for the first time in my life, my quiet, timid wolf rises up and screams a single, possessive word. Mine. My head snaps up, my gaze locking with Kyle's across the crowded room. His conversation has faltered. His storm gray eyes are wide, fixed on me with a look of pure shock. The mate bond, a legend I have only heard whispered about in stories, ignites between us. It is a golden thread, vibrant and alive, pulling my soul toward his. I can feel him, his confusion, his disbelief, and beneath it, a staggering surge of possessiveness that mirrors my own. For a breathtaking, impossible moment, hope blooms in the barren wasteland of my heart. The alpha's mate, me, the nameless Omega. It feels like a dream, a cruel and beautiful fantasy. He takes a step toward me, his pack and his duties forgotten. The world narrows to the space between us, to the shimmering golden cord that now binds us together. I can feel his wolf, a great powerful beast, howling in recognition. Mate, It roars, a sound that echoes in my own soul. I stand frozen, the heavy pitcher forgotten in my hand, my heart hammering against my ribs like a trapped bird. This is it. This is the moment my life changes. I will no longer be the girl in the shadows. I will be seen. I will be cherished. I will be his. But then, I see his jaw tighten. The shock in his eyes hardens into something else, something cold and sharp. His gaze sweeps over my worn tunic, my chapped hands, my plain, unremarkable face. I feel his judgment like a physical slap. He is seeing not his fated mate, but the pack's omega, the girl with no lineage, no power, no name, the she-wolf who is wholly unworthy of standing beside him. The golden thread between us begins to feel less like a bond and more like a chain, pulling him down. He straightens his shoulders, the alpha's mask of command slamming back into place. He turns his back on me, deliberately, a gesture that cuts deeper than any blade. The sudden cold is a shock to my system. He addresses the pack, his voice a booming command that silences the hall. The time has come. He walks to the center of the room, his movements stiff and controlled. He does not look at me again. He cannot. The bond is a living thing, and I can feel his struggle against it, his denial, his revulsion. The hope that had bloomed within me begins to wither, curling in on itself like a flower touched by frost. He stops before Seraphina, the daughter of his father's Beta, a she-wolf with a pedigree as pristine as her ice-blue gown. She is beautiful, powerful, and everything a purebred Luna should be. Before I make my choice, Kyle announces, his voice ringing with false authority, I must first sever a tie that should not exist. His stormy eyes finally find me again, and they are filled not with longing, but with cold, hard pity. He is going to do it. Here, in front of everyone. My wolf whimpers, a sound of pure agony. No, he wouldn't. There has been a mistake of fate, he continues, his words echoing in the stunned silence. A bond has formed where it has no right to be. He points a hand toward me, and every eye in the hall follows his gesture. I am pinned by their stares, their whispers, a rising tide of scorn and disbelief. I, Alpha Kale of the Blackwood Pack. His voice is formal, brutal, a litany of damnation. Reject you, Ilara, as my mate. The words hit me with the force of a physical blow. The golden thread between us frays, snapping with an audible crack that only we can hear. The pain is indescribable. It is a severing, a tearing of my very soul. A scream builds in my throat, but I choke it down, my pride the only thing holding me upright. He is not finished. He needs to justify this cruelty, to the pack and to himself. Our pack requires a Luna of pure blood, a she-wolf of strength and standing. Your blood is unknown, your origins a stain on our honor. You are not fit to be an Omega, let alone a Luna. Each word is a fresh nail in my coffin. He turns to Seraphina, offering her his hand. I choose you, Seraphina, to be my Luna, to strengthen our pack and secure our future. The pack erupts in cheers, a roar of approval that drowns out the sound of my world shattering. Seraphina smiles, a triumphant, vicious little smirk, and places her hand in his. As their skin touches, a wave of nausea rolls through me, the echo of his betrayal traveling down the broken bond. I see his flinch, the subtle tightening of his jaw. He feels it too, the wrongness of it, but he ignores it, his pride a fortress around his heart. I do not remember dropping the pitcher. I do not remember the wine spilling like blood across the stone floor. My only thought is to escape. I turn and flee, pushing through the jeering crowd, their laughter and insults chasing me from the hall. I run out into the cold night, the icy air searing my lungs. The pain in my chest is a gaping wound, bleeding out my hope, my future, my very soul. He did not just reject me, he annihilated me. And as I run into the darkness of the woods, I know my life in this pack, the only life I have ever known, is over. The next morning, I am summoned, not to the Alpha's study, but to the pack's main gate, like a common criminal. Kale is there, flanked by two of his most loyal warriors. Seraphina stands beside him, her hand possessively on his arm, her scent of primrose and victory a sickening perfume in the cold air. Kale refuses to meet my eyes. His face is a mask of stone, but through the shattered remnants of our bond, I feel his turmoil. His wolf is pacing, agitated, clawing at the inside of his skull. It knows what he has done. You are to be exiled, he says, his voice flat and devoid of emotion. The words are for the pack members who have gathered to watch the final act of my humiliation, not for me. Your presence here is a disruption, a reminder of a weakness that has been purged. Seraphina smiles sweetly. It is for the best, Ilara. The pack needs purity. I say nothing. Words are useless now. My silence is my only shield, my only defiance. The emptiness inside me is a vast, cold cavern where a heart used to be. The pain of the rejection has settled into a constant, dull ache, a phantom limb that will forever haunt me. I am given a small satchel with a stale loaf of bread, a water skin, and the threadbare cloak on my back. Nothing more. One of the warriors shoves me forward, toward the open gate that leads to the wild, unclaimed lands. I stumble, but catch myself, my chin held high. I will not give them the satisfaction of seeing me fall. I take one last look at Kal, forcing myself to meet his gaze. For a fleeting second, the stone mask cracks, and I see a flicker of agonizing regret in his stormy eyes. It is not enough. It will never be enough. I turn my back on him, on the pack, on the only home I have ever known. As I step across the threshold of the territory, a final brutal snap echoes in my soul. The last thread of the bond is severed by distance. I am truly alone now. The gate closes behind me with a sound of finality, and I walk into the unforgiving wilderness, a ghost with no future and a past that has been burned to ash. Weeks turn into a blur of cold, hunger, and despair. The wilderness is a harsh master. I hunt small game, with clumsy traps, my Omega Wolf providing little in the way of instinct or skill. I forage for roots and berries, my stomach a constant, aching knot of hunger. I am haunted by the ghost of the bond, the memory of its warmth a cruel torture in the freezing nights. The scent of pine and winter storm ambushes me in my dreams, and I wake with tears freezing on my cheeks. I am fading, a little more each day, the will to live eroding under the relentless weight of my sorrow. One night, a blizzard descends from the mountains, a howling monster of wind and snow. I find shelter in the lee of a rocky outcrop, but it is not enough. The cold sinks into my bones, deep and unforgiving. My body begins to shut down, the shivering replaced by a strange, peaceful numbness. This is it then. This is how it ends. Not with a fight, but with a quiet surrender to the cold. I close my eyes, ready for the darkness to take me. My wolf gives one last mournful whimper and falls silent. But as the last of my strength ebbs away, something stirs deep within me. It is not my wolf. It is something else, something ancient and cold and powerful. A flicker of silver light ignites behind my eyes, a spark in the frozen darkness of my soul. It is a different kind of fire, not the warm, earthy magic of the wolf, but the cold, clear light of the full moon. A new voice, one I have never heard before, whispers in the depths of my mind. It is not primal and possessive like my wolf's had been. It is calm, ancient, and filled with an unyielding power. Survive. The word is not a plea, it is a command. The silver spark grows, feeding not on warmth, but on the cold itself. It pushes back the numbness, reigniting the feeling in my limbs with a painful, icy burn. My eyes snap open. The swirling snow around me seems to slow, each flake a perfect crystalline star. I push myself up, my body screaming in protest, but the cold fire inside me insists, I will not die here. I will not let his rejection be the end of my story. I make a choice. In the heart of the blizzard, on the brink of death, I choose to live. 3 years pass. The girl who stumbled from the Blackwood territory is dead, frozen in that blizzard. I am what rose from her ashes. I live now in the high peaks of the Frostfang Mountains, a place of jagged rock and eternal snow. I am not alone. I was found, half frozen but alive, by an old shifter named Kalis. He was not a wolf, but something much older, a snow leopard, his fur the color of storm clouds. He recognized the power that had awoken in me. He called it moonfire. He told me the stories, the legends that the packs had forgotten. I am a descendant of the lunar blessed, a bloodline of shifters whose magic is tied directly to the moon itself. We were not weaker than the wolves. We were different. Our power was not in brute strength, but in control, in wielding the very essence of the cold and the night. My unknown blood was not a stain. It was a legacy, a power far rarer and more potent than any purebred alphas. Kalis trained me. The years were brutal, a crucible of pain and hardship. I learned to draw the cold into my body, to shape it into weapons of ice. I learned to move as silently as falling snow, to fight with a lethal grace that was part dance, part kill. I learned to command the shadows, to see in the dark, to become one with the night. My physical form changed. I grew stronger, leaner. The meek Omega was gone, replaced by a warrior. My eyes, once a simple brown, now hold flecks of silver that glow faintly in the moonlight. My wolf, once so timid, has changed too. She is no longer a separate, whimpering thing. She is intertwined with the moon fire, her primal instincts tempered by a cold, sharp intelligence. She is a hunter, a predator, her spirit as wild and untamed as these mountains. We are one, a perfect synthesis of beast and magic. I am no longer a nameless Omega. I am Ilara, the silver witch of the Frost Fangs. My power acts as a beacon in the wild, drawing others like me, outcasts, rogues, those who do not fit within the rigid structures of the packs. They come seeking refuge, and they find a home. We have formed our own enclave, the Silver Moon, a small but fiercely loyal pack, bound not by blood, but by shared survival. I am their leader, their alpha. I protect them, and in turn, they give me the one thing I thought I had lost forever. A family. The ache of the broken bond with Kale is still there. A thin silver scar on my soul, but it no longer defines me. It is just a part of the past, a reminder of the weakness I burned away in the snow. My name is Kale, and I am a broken alpha. It has been 3 years since I cast her out, and not a single night has passed that I have not paid for it. The moment she crossed the territorial line, the moment that final thread of our bond snapped, My own wolf turned on me. He is a feral beast trapped inside my skull, a constant voice of rage and agony. Mate, gone, wrong, broken. He screams the words day and night, a relentless punishment for my crime. I chose Seraphina. I chose purity, duty, and strength. But my choice was a lie. We cannot complete the mating bond. My body rejects her. My wolf refuses her. Every time I touch her, my skin crawls, and the scent of pine and storm that once defined me turns to ash and rot in my nostrils. She is my Luna in name only, a cold presence in my bed, a political partner in my court. There is no warmth, no connection, only the bitter taste of my monumental mistake. The pack feels my brokenness. I am a harsher ruler now, my temper short, my judgment clouded by the constant war raging within me. Our hunts are less successful, our winters harsher. My weakness is a sickness spreading through the blackwood, and my council of elders watches me with worried eyes. They know something is fundamentally wrong. They do not know that I destroyed my own soul for the sake of pride. I cannot sleep. I walk the battlements of my fortress night after night, staring out at the wilderness where I sent her to die. I tell myself she is gone, that she perished in the cold. It is a kinder thought than the alternative, that she is out there, alive, suffering because of me. The regret is a physical weight, a stone in my gut that never dissolves. I see her face in my nightmares, the shock, the pain, the betrayal in her eyes as I rejected her in front of everyone. I was a coward. I was afraid of her unknown blood, afraid of the council's disapproval, afraid of a mate who was not a perfect, predictable purebred. I chose power over fate, and fate is now exacting its revenge. My wolf howls her name in my dreams, a name I am forbidden to speak. Ilara. A new darkness gathers at the edges of our territory. At first, it is just whispers, strange tracks found by our patrols, livestock disappearing with no trace. Then the attacks begin. They are creatures of nightmare, forged from shadow and malice, with claws that shred flesh and eyes that burn with a cold, hungry light. The elders call them the Umbra, ancient enemies of the wolves, beasts that consume magic and life. They are drawn to our lands, to our heartwood, and my pack is not strong enough to fight them. My broken leadership has made us vulnerable. We are losing. One evening, a patrol is slaughtered, their bodies left torn and drained of life just inside our border. Desperate, I meet with the elders. Elder Maeve, her face a roadmap of wrinkles, her eyes holding the wisdom of a century, tells me a story, a legend of the lunar blessed, shifters who could command the cold moonfire and were the only true defense against the Umbra. They were thought to be extinct, she says, her voice a dry rasp. But there are whispers, a powerful she-wolf in the Frostfang Mountains. They call her the Silver Witch. They say she has formed a pack of outcasts, that she wields the light of the moon itself. She is our only hope. The Frostfang Mountains, the same merciless wilderness I banished Ilara to. A sliver of impossible hope, so sharp it is painful, pierces the fog of my despair. It cannot be. It is a fool's dream, but it is the only dream I have left. I will go myself. I will seek out this Silver Witch and beg for her aid. I owe it to my pack to try. I owe it to them to save them from the consequences of my own failure. As I prepare for the journey, my wolf stirs with an energy it has not shown in years. A frantic, desperate hope. Find. Mate. Find. The journey north is grueling. The air grows thin and cold, the landscape unforgiving. The higher I climb into the Frostfangs, the more I feel a strange power in the air, a clean, cold magic that prickles my skin. After days of travel, I find it, the Silver Moon Enclave. It is not a fortress of wood and stone like my own, but a series of interconnected caves set into the side of a mountain, their entrances glowing with a soft, silver light. It is beautiful and deadly. Warriors emerge to meet me, their movements silent and fluid. They are a mix of wolves, a lynx, even a bear. They are all hard-eyed and wary. I announce myself. I am Alpha Kale of the Blackwood Pack. I come seeking an audience with the Silver Witch. Their leader, a tall wolf with a scarred face, regards me with suspicion. Our Alpha does not receive visitors without cause. My cause is the survival of my pack, I say, my voice raw with exhaustion and desperation. We are being attacked by the Umbra. I have come to beg for her help. He seems to consider this, then gives a curt nod and leads me inside. The caves are surprisingly warm, lit by glowing crystals that pulse with the same silver energy. I am led to a large, open cavern. At its center, on a simple throne carved from ice and stone, sits a woman. She is turned away from me, speaking in low tones to a young she-wolf. Her voice is calm and clear, a sound like winter bells. She wears simple leathers of white and gray, and a cascade of dark hair, threaded with silver, falls down her back. The scent in the cavern is of cold stone, night-blooming flowers, and something else. Something that pulls at the edges of my memory. Alpha Ilara, the guard announces. A supplicant from the south. Ilara. The name hits me like a physical blow. My breath catches in my throat. My wolf begins to howl, a storm of disbelief and frantic joy. It cannot be. It is impossible. She turns, and the world stops. It is her, but it is not her. The face is the same, but it is sharper, honed by hardship into a breathtaking beauty. The timid Omega is gone. This woman is a queen, an alpha, power radiating from her in a visible, shimmering aura of cold moonlight. And her eyes, once a gentle brown, are now the color of silver, and they hold no warmth for me. They are as cold and unforgiving as the mountains she commands. The moment our eyes meet, the broken bond between us explodes back to life. It is not a gentle reunion. It is a violent, agonizing collision. 3 years of pain, regret, and longing slam into me. The scent of pine and winter storm, my own scent, floods my senses. But it is twisted with the sharp, clean fragrance of moonlight and cold snow that is now hers. It is the most beautiful, most painful thing I have ever smelled. My knees feel weak. My wolf is screaming, clawing, desperate to go to her, to fall at her feet, to beg her forgiveness. Mate, ours, found. I take a half step forward, her name a prayer on my lips. Ilara? She does not move. Her silver eyes watch me, and I see not a flicker of the girl I once knew. There is no shock, no pain, only a calm, chilling indifference. She looks at me as if I am a stranger, a minor annoyance in her day. That coldness is worse than any hatred. Hatred would mean she still felt something. This is nothing. Alpha Kull, she says, her voice smooth and cold as ice. I had heard your pack was struggling. I did not realize it was so dire you would come begging to an outcast yourself. The words are a perfectly aimed dagger, and they find their mark. She remembers everything. She has forgotten nothing. I stand before her, the powerful alpha of the Blackwood, and I have never felt so small. She is no longer the nameless Omega I cast aside. She is an alpha, a queen in her own right, forged in the fires of my rejection. And I, who had everything, am now the one who has come to beg. The power dynamic has not just shifted, it has been completely, devastatingly inverted. I have come seeking a savior, and I have found the woman I tried to destroy. My pack needs her, but my soul craves her. The conflict is a fresh hell. To save my people, I must submit to the authority of the woman whose spirit I tried to break. Her cold indifference is my new torment, a constant reminder of what I threw away. She agrees to help, her reasoning as sharp and cold as her magic. The Umbra will not stop with your lands, she states, addressing her own council, not me. They are a plague that must be purged. We will aid the Blackwood Pack not for their alpha's sake, but for the sake of the territories. She uses me, my desperation, as a tool to rally her own people. She is a brilliant leader. We are forced to work together, planning strategies, scouting the borders. This forced proximity is a sweet torture. I am constantly in her presence, bathed in her scent of moonlight and snow. The bond, raw and screaming, tries to bridge the gap between us, but she gives it nothing. She keeps her shields up, her emotions locked behind a wall of ice. She speaks to me only when necessary, her tone professional, her silver eyes revealing nothing. One night, we are tracking an Umbra scout near the border. We move in silence through the moonlit forest. Her grace is breathtaking. She is more shadow than woman. I, on the other hand, am clumsy. My senses are dulled by my inner turmoil. My wolf, too focused on her to be an effective hunter. I trip over a root, my curse a low growl of frustration. She stops, turning to look at me, and for the first time, I see a crack in her icy facade. It is not sympathy. It is a flicker of annoyance, of pity. "You are a mess, Alpha Kale," she says, her voice quiet in the darkness. "Your wolf is a storm. Your focus is shattered. You are a liability." I know, I admit, my voice rough. The confession is torn from me. He has been this way for 3 years, since the day I sent you away. She flinches, a barely perceptible tightening of her shoulders. It is the first reaction she has shown, and it gives me a sliver of hope. "Do not speak of that," she says, her voice dropping to a dangerous whisper. "I have to," I press, desperate to break through her control. "I have to tell you. There has not been a day, not a single moment, that I have not regretted it. My pride, my fear. I was a fool. I listened to my counsel, to the whispers about bloodlines, when I should have listened to my own soul. I broke a Silara, and in doing so, I broke myself." My voice cracks on the last word. The confession hangs in the cold air between us, raw and pathetic. She stares at me for a long moment, her silver eyes searching my face. I let her see everything: the sleepless nights, the self-loathing, the agonizing pain of a broken bond. I show her the ruin she left behind. "Your regret does not erase the pain," she says finally, her voice soft but firm. "It does not unfreeze the nights I spent starving. It does not heal the scar of your public rejection. Your suffering is a consequence you have earned. It is not, and will never be, my concern." She turns and continues into the forest, leaving me alone with the weight of her words. It was not an absolution. It was a judgment, and it was just. Just as we begin to formulate a plan to defend the Heartwood, a scout from the Sunstone Pack arrives at our camp. He brings a message for Alara. His alpha is on his way. My gut clenches with a primitive, ugly jealousy. I have heard of Alpha Lysander. He is young, respected, and known for his calm, steady leadership. He is everything I am not. Lysander arrives the next day. He is tall and fair-haired, with a warm, open face and a scent of sun-warmed stone and summer grass. He greets Ilara not as a supplicant, but as an equal. He brings supplies, warriors, and his unwavering support. When he looks at her, his eyes are filled with a gentle admiration and a deep, abiding affection that makes my blood run cold. "I was worried when I heard you were coming here," he says to her, his voice a low rumble of concern. He completely ignores me. "This is not your fight." "The Umbra are everyone's fight," she replies, and I see a softness in her expression that she has never once shown me. A genuine small smile touches her lips. It feels like a punch to the gut. He sees it. He sees the way I watch her, the raw hunger and desperation in my eyes. He sees the fractured, invisible energy that crackles between us. He is a good alpha, an intelligent man. He understands what is happening here. Later that evening, he finds her alone by the edge of the camp. I watch from the shadows, a pathetic lurker, unable to stay away. "He is your mate," Lysander says. It is not a question. Ilara does not deny it. "He was." "The bond is not dead, Ilara. I can feel it from here. It is a storm." He reaches out, gently touching her arm. "You deserve better than a storm. You deserve peace. You deserve a sun-drenched valley, not a frozen peak." She looks away, toward the dark woods that border my territory. "It is not that simple." "I know," he says, his voice full of a sad resignation that I envy. "I know I cannot compete with fate, no matter how cruel it has been. I will not put you in the middle of that. I will not ask you to choose between a broken bond and a safe harbor. My pack will help you, always. We will fight the Umbra alongside you. But I cannot stay and watch this. I love you too much to be your second choice." He leans in and presses a gentle kiss to her forehead. A simple, chaste gesture of farewell that feels more intimate than anything I have ever shared with Serafina. My wolf snarls, a low, vicious sound in my mind. "Be safe, Ilara," he whispers, and then he turns and walks away, his back straight and proud. He leaves with a dignity I can only dream of possessing. He has shown her kindness where I showed cruelty. He has offered her respect where I offered humiliation. He has gracefully bowed out, leaving her free, highlighting the cage of pride I had tried to build around myself. His departure clears the battlefield, leaving only her, me, and the ghosts of our past. And I know, with a certainty that chills me to the bone, that the final battle is coming. For my land, and for my soul. The Umbra attack at dawn. They rise from the earth like living shadows, a silent, swarming tide of darkness. They are led by a creature larger than the rest, a being of pure, solidified night with eyes like burning embers. This is their alpha, their master. The battle is immediate and brutal. Ilara's Silver Moon warriors fight with a silent, deadly grace, their blades coated in ice, their arrows tipped with silver light. My Blackwood wolves meet the charge with desperate, snarling fury. Ilara is a whirlwind of silver and white at the heart of the battle. She moves like a phantom, a blade of pure moonlight in each hand, cutting down Umbra with every step. The moonfire flows from her, freezing the ground, encasing the shadow creatures in prisons of ice. She is magnificent. She is terrifying. She is the only reason we are not all dead. The Umbra Alpha ignores the chaos of the battle. It has only one target. It flows through the fighting, its shadowy form impervious to the claws and teeth of my warriors, and makes a direct path for Alara. It is drawn to her power, a predator seeking the brightest light. I see its intent. My wolf screams a warning. Protect. Mate. Protect. Ilara is engaged with three other Umbra, her back momentarily turned. The Shadow Alpha raises a clawed hand, a tendril of pure darkness coalescing around its claws, aimed directly at her heart. There is no time to shout, no time to think. There is only instinct. Primal, absolute, and undeniable. I move. I throw myself across the battlefield, shoving my own warriors aside. I reach her just as the Umbra Alpha strikes. I put my body between her and the blow. The pain is a flash of white-hot fire, followed by an abyssal cold. The shadow claw tears through my back, ripping through muscle and bone. The magic it carries is a poison, draining my strength, my warmth, my very life force. I cry out, stumbling forward, collapsing at Alara's feet. She whirls around, her silver eyes wide with shock. She sees me, the gaping, smoking wound in my back, the life draining from my face. The Umbra Alpha looms over us, readying another strike. I push myself onto my knees, my body screaming in protest. I face her, my mate, the woman I wronged so terribly. This is my last chance, my final act. I have to set her free. Ilara, I gasp, my voice a wet rattle. Blood trickles from my lips. My rejection. It is a chain on your soul. I see that now. My vision begins to blur at the edges. I force the words out, the formal rite that will be my last decree as Alpha. I, Alpha Kale of the Blackwood Pack, formally and unconditionally release you from my rejection. I sever all claim. Live free. You owe me nothing. It is the ultimate surrender, the final grovel. With the last of my strength, I bow my head and bare my throat to her, an act of total submission. I am not just submitting to her, but to fate, to the justice I have long deserved. I am ready to die for my pack and for her freedom. My wolf falls silent, at peace for the first time in 3 years. We have done what we must. We have proved our change, not with words, but with sacrifice. The world fades to gray. The last thing I see is her face, the ice in her silver eyes, finally, catastrophically, shattering. A single tear traces a path down her cheek, glowing with moonlight. Seeing him fall, seeing the dark, venomous wound in his back, something inside me breaks open. The carefully constructed walls of ice I have built around my heart for 3 years crumble into dust. The pain is not his alone. It screams down the bond, a symphony of agony that is both his and mine. He kneels before me, bleeding, dying, and with his last breath, he gives me the one thing he ever took, my freedom. He bares his throat, an offering, a surrender. In that moment, he is not the arrogant alpha who shamed me. He is just Kale, my mate, and he is willing to die to undo the wrong he did to me. My wolf, my magic, my very soul roars with a single, unified purpose, ours: protect, claim. The Umbra Alpha lunges, its shadow claw aimed for Kale's exposed throat. But I am faster. I move, a blur of silver light, my body intercepting the blow. My moon fire meets its shadow magic, and the world explodes in a blinding flash of light and darkness. I am thrown back, but I land on my feet, my blades in my hands, my body positioned protectively in front of Kale. I look at him, at his fading eyes, at the life bleeding out of him onto the forest floor. The choice is clear. It was never really a choice at all. Lysander offered me peace, but Kale is offering me my other half, scarred and broken and whole. I will not let him die. I will not let our story end this way. I kneel in front of him, my movements fluid and certain. I look into his stormy eyes, letting him see everything inside me. The pain, the anger, the forgiveness, and the fierce, unyielding love that has survived everything. I, Ilara of the Silver Moon, my voice is steady, ringing with power across the battlefield. Accept you, Kale of the Blackwood, as my mate. I lean forward and press my lips to his. As I do, I place my hand over the terrible wound on his back, pushing my moonfire, my life force, into him. The bond, which has been a source of pain and longing for so long, snaps into place. It is not a quiet connection. It is a supernova, a tidal wave of power. His and mine crashes together. His earthy, wild magic of the forest floor, and my cold, ethereal magic of the moon, pine and winter storm, moonlight and cold snow, earth and sky. We are complete. The power of the completed bond surges through him. I feel his life force rekindle, his wound stitching itself closed under my hand, leaving behind only a tracery of silver scars. He gasps, his eyes clearing, the strength flowing back into his limbs. He rises to his feet, standing beside me, no longer a supplicant, but my partner, my equal. We turn to face the Umbra Alpha as one. We do not need to speak. We move in perfect sync, our thoughts and actions intertwined through the bond. He draws the earth power up, roots and vines erupting from the ground to ensnare the creature. I call down the moon, a concentrated beam of pure silver light striking from above. The two forces, earth and moon, life and light, collide. The Umbra Alpha shrieks, a sound that tears at the fabric of reality, and then it dissolves, its shadow form annihilated by our combined power. With the death of their leader, the remaining Umbra dissolve back into shadows, fleeing into the dark places of the earth. The battle is over. A weary cheer rises from our combined warriors. They are no longer Blackwood and Silvermoon. In this fight, they have become one pack. Kyle turns to me, his stormy eyes full of a raw, vulnerable emotion that takes my breath away. He reaches out, his hand gently cupping my cheek. His touch is no longer a ghost of pain, but a solid, warm reality. Ilara, he breathes my name, and it is a sound of reverence. Kyle, I reply, my voice thick with unshed tears. I lean into his touch, finally allowing myself the comfort I have denied for so long. We have won. But the war for our future is just beginning. We have to rebuild, to merge our packs, to forge a new way of life where bloodlines matter less than strength of character. We are no longer just an alpha and his Luna. We are two alphas, ruling side by side, our strengths balancing our weaknesses. The old hierarchies are gone, burned away in the crucible of our suffering and reunion. Months later, I stand on the balcony of the Alpha's fortress, which is now our fortress. The stone has been inlaid with the glowing moon crystals from my mountain home, a symbol of our united packs. The air is crisp with the promise of winter, but I no longer feel the cold. Kaal stands behind me, his arms wrapped around my waist, his chin resting on my shoulder. His presence is a constant, steady warmth at my back. He traces the intricate silver scar that now covers most of his back, a permanent reminder of his sacrifice. Does it hurt? I ask softly. No, he murmurs, his lips brushing against my temple. It is a reminder of my failure and of your grace. He turns me in his arms, his stormy eyes serious. I will spend the rest of my life earning the forgiveness you have given me, Ilara. I place a hand on his chest, over his heart. You already have, Kyle. We earned this. Together. The scars are still there, on both of us. A certain coolness remains in my eyes, a memory of the ice I once surrounded myself with. A shadow of guilt still lingers in his, a reminder of the man he used to be. But they are not weaknesses. They are proof of our survival, of our journey. We are not perfect fairy tale mates. We are something better. We are real. He leans down, and his kiss is not one of frantic desperation or agonizing regret. It is a kiss of peace, of promise, of home. The scent of pine and winter's storm, once a source of so much pain, is now my greatest comfort, forever intertwined with my own scent of moonlight and snow. We are earned, we are scarred, but we are, finally and completely, whole.